you remember the first time that you worked with one of the clinics?
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know?
I can't remember if it was H3 or it was another team,
Mhm.
but I remember the first time we had a medical team come to, because I've been to Zana Church like all my life since I was
Mhm.
2 years old. Yeah, and I remember the very first team that came to Zana Church came around 2014.
Yep. Yeah, and why?
Hello?
Yes, why?
Yeah, but I don't know if it was H3.
Yeah, I don't think it was known as H3 when we first started working with Zana Church. And
Yeah.
what made you decide to volunteer with the clinic?
Um, like growing up in church and having this background of orphanhood and all the struggles and all the hassles I had gone through, I had a vision of doing something that would be medical related, like
Mhm.
way back from when I was a child. I really wanted to help out to someone, reach out to someone in form of a medical way, whichever thing I could do that would be medical. I always wanted to. So when the guys came, I don't know from where they came from, but all I remember was a team of whites that came to our church, and they were ready to offer medical support. And I was like, wow, this is a very great idea. I was young by then. I remember I was still so young, but I remember going and talking to Reverend M and telling him, is it okay if I can come around and do anything they could ask me to do? He told me, yes, you speak good English and you can write so well. Come and help. So I came because I was like, it's going to be a great opportunity for me to reach out to another person with
Mhm.
the few knowledge that I had back then, and with the inspiration of doing something medical. I was like, wow, an opportunity has come for me to be around doctors, to get exposed and learn a few things.
And what sort of things have you learned from working with the clinics over the years?
Um, First of all, before like by the time the clinic came, I was still in high school. But working with them for the very first time, I was like, oh, I think I can do it too.
Mhm.
If I could get like if I could get the grades to take me through school, I think I could do something medical. Like there's a way it brought out all the fear I had inside. And the other thing that I learned from those medical camps was they would tell us you're not only going to be giving these people medical support, or you're not going to be helping these people that come to give us the medical support, but also you're going to help us preach out to the people that come to the clinics because they understand our language. So preaching out and talking to these people as they waited in the queues and having small conversations with them as they were waiting to see the doctor also helped me to learn to be open, to talk to people openly, to preach the gospel in the little knowledge that I had, and to know I can really do anything if I set focus and came out.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think you're starting to preach right now. And so I think my first clinic with H3, and I think it was before it was even called H3, was in 2016.
Mm.
And we were there, and we did a few. The year we did one at Zana, and we did a few
Mm-hmm.
different rotation, did a few different places.
Yes.
We did one at ABU. Most of them recently have been at
Mm-hmm.
ABU. And
Yes.
even one year, Brendan came with us, my son, and
Yeah, I remember.
he is now going to university Friday. He's going off to college.
Wow. Wow. He was so young.
Yeah,
I
he
can't
still seems
believe.
so young, but yes.
Wow, that's very beautiful.
It is. He wants to be a physical therapist.
My goodness,
Yeah.
that is so nice.
We are very excited. And so the
Sure, you
last
should
time,
be.
what's that?
Mm. I said you should be excited.
Yeah, I'm a little sad because he's leaving and I won't see him for at least a few weeks.
But he'll come back.
He will. He will.
We only pray he's safe out there.
Yes. So the
Yeah.
last time that we were in Uganda,
Mm.
you were not there.
Yes,
And
please.
so
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about what happened while you were gone. But what I do want to know is when you left Uganda, sort of why did you leave? What made you decide to leave? And then we'll talk about you getting back, which we were all super excited about.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, I think, okay, going back,
Mm-hmm.
like going back before, because I think that was, I'm trying to remember the very first team that came as a medical team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it were you guys.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So coming back to the question you were asking, 2016, I had graduated with a diploma in HIV/AIDS education and management at university. That is sort of treatment, care, and management of HIV patients with counseling and all that stuff in there. So after doing that course, I tried looking for jobs, but it was a little frustrating for me because, it's hard to find a job when you have no connection, like there's no one who knows you in a big office, or you're not you don't have friends that are rich anywhere, and you know how things are here. Like when your parents see you've at least gone to school to some extent, they believe paying them at.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked for jobs for all the time. Jobs, you come back, have a treat before I give you a job, and all those things. And the fact that I only had a university diploma, it was hard for me to get a job because they usually want a degree holder for a good job in Uganda. So everywhere I would go, they would tell me, you're only a diploma holder. Maybe you have good grades. We see you can do it, but because of your qualifications, we won't give you a job. So I looked and looked. I waited. I prayed. Things weren't going the way I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So along the way, 2017, my uncle, who has raised me up, he's not my dad, but he's raised me since my parents died. He got a loan from the bank because he had to pay for school fees and he had to pay for a medical bill for one of my cousins who had a kidney problem. She had gotten what they call gallstones in the kidney.
Oh, that sounds painful.
Yeah, and we went to Mulago, and they were asking for a lot of money to do the operation, close to 20 million. So we looked around for money, but he couldn't raise all that money alone. So he got a loan from the bank. He paid for her treatment and she was operated on. But then the problem came that he had to pay back the money.
Right.
So in trying to pay back the money, things became hard. You know, he had to feed the 18 of us at home. He had to pay school fees for all my other orphaned cousins and his children, and meet all the other needs at home, plus paying the bank loan.
Yeah.
So a time came when they were like, the bank came and they were like, we are going to evict you out of this house because, you know, you can't raise the money. And it was at the very, very time that I was also looking for a job. And still at the very time, I had tried going back to school because I couldn't find a job because of my diploma. I tried going back to school to do my degree so I could qualify for a job. So I went to church. I talked to like some people that, you know, some people that come to church. I could talk to them and tell them I have this dream of going back to school, but I have no money. Can someone help me? You know, all those things.
Yes.
And along the way, there's a gentleman in church who said, just randomly, one Sunday after church, he came to me and told me, can you please bring me your papers? I see. So I take my papers to him, and he sees. So after seeing them, he tells me, okay, I'm going to pay for you to go back to university and do your degree. So 2017, I go back to school. I enroll back in campus. And yeah, I do the August semester and finish it. Yes. So after the very first semester of my degree in December, that gentleman fell sick. When he fell sick, he went to hospital and he was diagnosed with cancer. So in January, I was meant to start my second semester in February, early February. So in January, he calls me and tells me, you know what, my daughter, I don't think I'm going to be able to pay for you school fees at campus because, you know, I've fallen sick and I need to pay a lot of money in the hospital for my therapies. So it kind of broke me down because like I you know, I had gained this hope that after all, a chance has come for me to go back to school and do my degree. Maybe I can qualify for a job, or maybe I can go to an organization somewhere and work and get to be useful in life and get to help my family build my life, you know, all that.
Yes.
So I was kind of confused because school had stopped from nowhere. At home, there was literally nothing to eat because my uncle wasn't making money. All the little pennies he could make, he could just run to the bank and pay. Then I had my sick cousin at home who also needed all this treatment. It was a little too much. And you know, sometimes out of anger and frustration, people bring out things. Not that they don't love you or they don't want you, but you know, I've never woke up any morning and said I blame him for what he did or what happened along that time, because he was really frustrated. So one day we were sitting at home in the evening. I remember that day we didn't even have supper, we just had tea. So he told us, I don't know if he was serious with that statement, but we know he's this one person who is quiet. When he says something, he means it. So he tells us, we are at the verge of losing this house, and I don't know what I'm going to do for all of you because we are 18 at home. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do for all of you, but let's just pray and see how things go. So I get into my bed. I was sharing my bed with my sister. So I enter my bed and I start thinking a lot of things. I'm like, what am I going to do? Here I am, I've graduated out of university. I don't even have a job. I can't even help them bring food at home. There's literally nothing I can do. They've looked after me since I was 1 year old when my mom and dad died, and I can't really do anything to help them now. it was a bit too much for me. I thought, I was like, what can I do to bring myself out of this situation? Because if I don't find a job, then I'm useless here. I need to find something to do so that maybe I can buy food or help my dad with the loan, or do something, make ends meet at home. Because, I was scared if he was to send us out of the house. The only option we had is me and my sister had to go back to the village. And we don't have anyone to look after us there, because we don't have a mom there, we don't have a dad there. It's only me and my big sister. And my big sister is not okay. She has a mental problem. She has a disability, both with her legs and her brain. I don't know how that happened, but I was told when we were growing, when my mother died, we stayed with someone for some time, so she fell sick and she wasn't treated in time. Somehow the illness affected her brain, so she can't think straight. She couldn't even go to school to study further because she literally would not understand anything at school. Like, her brain is too slow. So I do the responsibility of looking after her, making sure she has clothes, making sure she has the sanitaries, she has everything she needs. Because much as I'm younger, but at least me, I'm able. I can think straight. I can go to school. I can reason out things. I'm the one meant to protect her, to make sure she's out of danger. So that kind of scared me. I was like, how do we get back? How do we get to go back to the village? How will I be able to look after her there when we don't have our uncle? We don't have literally no one. So I tried talking, like I talked to one of my friends. I told her, I'm looking for a job, anything that I can do. Maybe I can clean some. So she tells me it's hard to find a job around here, but maybe you could try going to the United Arab Emirates. So I asked her, isn't that going to be a bit expensive for me? Because I don't know if I can raise money to buy a ticket and, do all the necessary procedures to go and all that stuff. So she told me there's an organization that helps you pay for your travel procedures. Then when you get to work, they deduct from your salary and pay themselves back. Yeah, so I sat down. I thought a lot. I was like, this could be the only way out, because I'm not going to school. I've lost the chance of going to school. I'm not working. I'm only sitting home, with all my cousins, and I've studied, but I'm just here with nothing, with literally nothing. So I kind of bought the idea to go. So I'm like, okay, let me go to the organization offices and talk to them and see if they can help me. So I went there. I talked to them. They told me, did you go to school? I told them, yes, I went to school. I graduated with a diploma, but I can't find a job anywhere in Uganda. Like, I've failed finding a decent job.
Yeah.
So they tell me, okay, we are going to help you in this way. We are going to help pay for the travel procedures. Then when you get to work, you will pay us back the first 3 months. So I was like, okay, maybe that could work for me. After all, I'm going to go work and then pay them back. Then I can start earning some money, then send home for my uncle to pay the bank loan, help them pay the bank loan. Then maybe I can also send money for them to have food around so they don't send them all away from home. So I was like, okay, let me start working on this. So I started working on traveling. Like I could wake up early in the morning, 5, walk to town, go to the offices that I had to go to. And luckily enough, somehow every office I went to, things would work out. I got I got the passport, then I had to go to the Interpol. I did the Interpol. I went to do the medical checkup. Then there was a problem there because when I went for the medical checkup, like everything was fine, but my chest had a problem.
Oh no.
You know, I'm asthmatic.
Mm-hmm.
So this doctor told me your medical checkup was going to be perfect, but you have a problem with your chest. I lied because I told myself if I tell him I have a chronic illness, they won't allow me to travel. I told him, you know, after going to school, I somehow know something about medic. I'm kind of informed, not so much, but I have enough knowledge.
Yeah.
Enough knowledge that can help me get myself out of trouble. So I told him, I've been having this cough for a long time. Maybe it's the problem. My chest is not fine, but I'm treating it. So he told me I can't. He told me I can't just stamp a pass for you when I'm not sure. I begged him. I told him, please believe me, it's just a cough. When it goes away, my lungs will be clear and I'll be fine. So he told me, promise me you're going to take medication before you travel abroad. I told him I'm doing that, and trust me, before I go, I'll be fine. So he kind of stamped a pass on my medical form, and because that was the only thing that was going to keep me from not going. So I after that, a week later, I'm called and I'm told, you know, your visa is out. Your boss has sent the visa. You should get ready to do it, to travel. And on the 15th of March, I traveled to the UAE to work.
That happened very quickly. It seemed.
Yeah, 2 months. I did everything in 2 months. 2 months later, like I had all the qualifications that I needed to get a visa. Because I was like, I can't sleep. I have to make this work so I could go and save my family.
Right.
So yeah, I would go every day and sit at the office and wait for all my papers. I'm like, I'm not living here. I need my papers too because I need to do the next step. Please help me. I need this for my family. I need to save my life. So somehow they helped me.
And I think we found out when we got there, our I can't speak. Our camp that year, I think, was probably later that same month or in April, because we normally come in March and April. And we found out that you were gone. And my Mama Linda, was she looked you up on Facebook. I think at one point she was ready to come to UAE and come rescue you at some point.
It was something like a miracle, because at the time when she looked up for me, I was going through a lot. Because I reached the UAE and things didn't seem to work out.
Yeah, it wasn't what they had told you it was.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did you end up being there?
I was there for 8 months and a few weeks. Yeah.
And then you came back.
Yeah. Even coming back was a miracle. I almost thought I was going to die there.
Yeah, we thought the same thing, actually. We were very afraid for you. So how did you get back?
Yeah, because I reached the UAE. So I reached the UAE and start working. But I seemed at first I like, you know, I think when you're starting, they don't give you that impression that it's going to be bad. So for the first 2 months, it was fine. I was working and they were taking my money. I wasn't getting a penny because I had to pay back the money they had spent on me to go. So after 3 months, they started overworking me. I would literally sleep for 2 hours and work for the other hours.
That's not much sleep.
It became too bad. 2 hours. Like they give you 2 hours counted. When the 2 hours end, someone comes and you know, taps on you, get up, get up, get up. You need to go and work. So when you get your 2 hours, you rush, you run quickly and fall asleep faster, faster. So you cannot waste any minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things started going bad. I was working too much, and along the way, my asthma came back. So when I started falling sick, my boss told me you need to go to the hospital because I was literally wheezing the whole time, all the time. They could send me to go and take food to someone and I go wheezing. Then the customer started complaining that your employee should be having a sickness and it may spread. So my boss told me I need to take you to the hospital so they can check you up. At first he told me, you're lying, you don't want to work, you want to go and sleep. So to the hospital, tell me your asthma is bad. Your lungs are blocked, your chest is congested, and you need to rest for a month.
Oh.
I was in the hospital for 2 weeks because they detained me. The doctors were like, we are not letting you take this girl back home in this condition. She needs to stay in the hospital and get treatment, or else she'll die on the job. So he was not happy that I have to stay in the hospital. So he left me in the hospital and never came back for 2 weeks. So I was in the hospital, I could get treatment, but there was literally no one to help. So on the 12th day of my treatment, a doctor comes to my room and asks me, you girl, where is your boss? Who is in charge of you? Who is responsible for you? So I tell the doctor, my boss brought me here, but I've never seen him since then. So the doctor got concerned. Oh, before I went to the hospital, before they took me to the hospital, I had fallen on the stairs. I fell on the stairs. I was cleaning the stairs. Somehow I slipped. So when I slipped, I fell over like 7 or 8 steps down. So when I fell, I hurt my knee and fainted. I blacked out. So when I blacked out, that's when he took me to the hospital. And in taking me to the hospital, that's when they find out all these illnesses that I had. So I had to stay there. So when the doctor learned that my boss near the hospital and wasn't coming back, he asked me for my work permit. I still remembered my ID number. So I gave him my ID number and told him I need help because I'm literally not feeling better and there's no one here to help me. Maybe I can just go back to my country and die from there. I was scared.
Yes.
because I was like, I had lost hope they would pay me money in installments instead of a full salary.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm working too much. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting paid all the money that I get to work this hard for. And now I'm sick and I'm abandoned in the hospital. What happens if I die? So the doctor helped me call the police. So the police came. They took a statement from me.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, what do you want? So the police told the doctor to give them a report. And the doctor gave a report. He said, this girl needs to rest. She shouldn't do any more hectic work for now. Until she gets better, she needs to rest. So that's when the police went and talked to my boss and told my boss, you need to pay an air ticket for this girl to go back home by force.
Wow.
So that's how I get to come back. I came back sick, like very sick.
Yeah.
Because I reached the airport and called my cousin. My cousin came and found me. He just burst out and cried. He told me, let me rush you to the hospital before you die.
Oh my goodness.
So from the airport, they took me to a clinic. I was there for 2 weeks. Then I felt better and went back home. Yeah.
Yes, we celebrated here when we found out that you had made it back home to Uganda.
Thank you.
So since then, because obviously you didn't die, because I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Yes.
So what's happened since you made it back and you've been healthier?
I came
Other
back.
than COVID coming.
I started looking for another way back to school,
Mm-hmm.
but it has failed. Then along the way, I met Pastor Rogers and told him everything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him the only thing I need is to start working and help my family and myself out, because I'm not growing any younger and I need to, start earning so that I can move life. So Pastor Rogers told me, maybe we can offer you a small offer. You start working at H3.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super, super glad. So I was happy I'm going to start working with H3 because they know me. They're like family. They've known me for years. And they love people. They would support me. They would be there for me. And I literally would have a family out there.